Hey guys, Lon from the ECOM Zone, and I've scaled my dropshipping store over $5.6 million over the past 5 years. And this is exactly what I'll do if I was to start Facebook ads again. So in this video, we're going to go through tips, structure of your ad account, testing and scaling phase. So the first tip I'll suggest is actually starting with at least $1,000 or pounds. So if you don't have that in your bank account, I probably wouldn't run ads and I'll go the organic route. Now let's just say you do have £1,000, you also need a regular income stream. My typing is terrible here, regular income stream. Now the reason why you need a regular income stream is because once this £1,000 runs out, you're going to need more money coming in. Now the reason why this £1,000 will run out, even if you get sales, is because of payment holds. So payment holds is another thing you need to look out for. So let's just say you spent like £200 running ads, right? And you make £200 in sales. So you're not actually breaking even, but at least you're making sales because you got to pay for the COGS, which is your cost of goods, and this is your Facebook ads, right? So you got cost of goods, which may be like, I don't know, £70, and then your profit is what, 130, excluding the £200. So overall, your cost was £200 plus 70, so that's £270 out of this £1,000. Now you don't actually get this £200 in sales from Shopify or PayPal instantly. They actually hold on to that money. Now at the beginning, they may give it to you instantly, but normally it takes about a week to end up in your bank account. So 1 week to go into your bank account. That means for a whole week, when you're running Facebook ads and you're getting sales, you're not getting any of those sales money. And so how do you actually afford your Facebook ads and your cost of goods when you only have £1,000? Because over time, your Facebook ads will go up, your cost of goods will go up, and your revenue, well, you don't really have that in your bank account. And that's why it's important you have a regular income stream. So let me just delete all this. Hopefully that explains that. And payment holds. Now the reason why there are payment holds is because of scammers during COVID. Now a lot of scammers started dropshipping during COVID and they weren't sending products out even though they were making sales. So what they were just doing was scaling up Facebook ads, making sure they make money, and then they'll never send anything out. And that is called don't ship, dropship or something like that. But essentially they're scammers and it ruined the game for a lot of people. Because of that, now banks and PayPal won't release funds instantly. They actually want parcels to arrive and then they'll release the funds. So yeah, very annoying, but that's why there's payment holds. So the next tip is actually using Facebook Ads Manager. So a lot of people actually boost posts on like Instagram and stuff like that, but you actually want to sign up for the Facebook Business Ads Manager. So that actually looks like this. And whenever you're setting up new ads, you're optimizing ads, you're analyzing ads, you should be using the ads manager. You shouldn't be using your phone. You should be using your ads manager on your desktop and reviewing your metrics. And that's where you upload your ads. Next, you also want to make sure you have multiple ad accounts. Now, the reason why you want multiple ad accounts is because if one of them gets hacked, you have other ad accounts to get back into the account. A lot of people do get scammed, unfortunately, and you need a second ad account to get back in the ad manager. So that's one thing. So you could ask your family, you could ask your girlfriend, your wife, I don't know who it is, someone you trust that you can add into your business ad account so that if you ever get hacked, you can use their account to access your business ad account. Next, we need to talk about Pixel and Cappy. So Pixel is the cookie that Facebook uses to track the data. So whenever someone goes to your website and they add to cart, they check out and purchase, it's all tracked with Pixel and Facebook will pick that up. You also should have Cappy installed on Shopify if you set up your store with Shopify. And you basically need the Facebook and Instagram app on Shopify. You go to the settings and you turn on Cappy. Now Cappy stands for Conversion API. So you also need that. Make sure the pixel is the same pixel on your ad account and on Shopify, right? If it's different pixel, it's not going to get connected. So whatever traffic you're sending in store and all the data that's being collected, it won't actually connect back to Facebook if your pixel was different. So make sure your pixel is the same number. It should be like a 12-digit or like a very long number. I don't know how long it is, but it's a long number. And then make sure CAPI is set on maximum as well. So that there, guys, is your tips. Now let's actually talk about structure because of the Andromeda update. So because of the Andromeda update, a lot of things have changed now. Back then you would have multiple testing campaigns, ABO, CBO, you name it. But honestly, these days you could just start with an ABO campaign for testing and a CBO campaign for scaling. Now, you don't actually go on to the CBO scaling phase unless you actually have winning ads within your testing campaign. So let's go over to this side a bit more. Okay, so ABO, the reason why we use ABO is so that we could test broad vs interests. My handwriting is terrible on this mouse, but yeah, that's broad vs interests. And then you could also force ad spend into specific ad sets. Now, the reason why I say this is because sometimes you want to add new ads into your campaigns. Let's just say if it was a CBO campaign and you had, I don't know, 3 different ad sets, right? So you have ad set 1, 2, and 3, and then inside you have a bunch of ads, right? So with a CBO campaign, you're setting the budget at the campaign level. So the campaign level is this here, right? CBO, and that will hold your ad sets. And then you set your budget at this level, so £50, and it will distribute it amongst your ad sets. Sometimes one ad set will just get all your spend. So maybe this one will spend £40, this one may spend £9, and this one will spend £1, right? Something like that. Now, however, let's just say you add another ad set in here with new ads, right? So you got new ads, 4th ad set. Unfortunately, it might actually not get any spend. So it could get £35 here, £10, £4, and maybe £1. So essentially £1 is nothing. You didn't get any spend on this new ad set. And as the days go by, this ad set may get no spend at all. So all your effort into creating all these ads won't get any spend. And it's just upsetting to see. And sometimes you don't actually know if it's Facebook that doesn't want to force spend into it because they feel like ad set 1 will get you the sale, or they just don't think your ads are good. So I'm not too sure. It really depends on just your ads. So what I do instead is I put this into the ABO campaign. So with an ABO campaign, it's slightly different. An ABO campaign, so let's just say this is an ABO, and you have your 3 ad sets, 1, 2, 3, and then you have all your ads in here, right? So let's just say you want to spend £50. You don't actually set £50 on the campaign level because that's a campaign budget optimized campaign. This is an ABO campaign. So ABO campaign, you're setting the budget at the ad set level. So let's just say this was £10, this was £10, this was £10. So with this, you're actually going to force Facebook into spending £10 into each ad set. So when you do add a 4th ad set in here and you set it to £10, it's going to force Facebook to spend £10 into these new ads that you've added. And that way it's a fair test and you know, like, okay, I've put £10 into this ad set and it's either working or it's not going to work. However, with the CBO campaign, when you add a new ad set into CBO, you just don't know if it's going to work or not because of the budget distribution. Sometimes Facebook will just not give budget to the new ad set. And that's why I have both ABO and CBO. But when you're first starting out, use ABO campaigns, then you can go to CBO when you're scaling. So when you're testing, you have your ABO campaign with 3 ad sets, right? It really doesn't matter how many ad sets you have. What matters is how you structure your campaigns. So on campaigns, you want campaigns for each category on your store or hero product. For example, if you have only 10 products on your store and you only have like 2 hero products, then you can have 2 separate campaigns, right? So you have one for the hero product 1, and this is hero product 2. So this is one way to test. Now all your ads for that hero product will go into this campaign here. If you have another one, so let's just say you have another hero product, then it will go into this campaign here. So you have ad set 1, 2, and 3, and then you have all your ads sitting in here. Now, how many ads should you have in here? 10 ads in each one, and they can be the same ads across the ad sets. So you're only really creating 10 different ads, and then you're duplicating it across the different ad sets. With this one as well, 1, 2, 3, you could even just start with 5 ads if you wanted. So 5 ads, and then you dupe it across, so it's 5, and dupe it again, so it's 5. Now the difference between 1, 2, and 3 in terms of the ad sets is just the interest. So interest. So the interest at these broad. I'm so sorry for this really terrible handwriting, but writing with a mouse is impossible. I don't know how people do it. So you're gonna test interest vs broad. Now let's just say you're selling necklaces or jewelry. Your interest can be like necklace, jewelry, right? It could be like those sort of interests. You could even have one as like girlfriend maybe, up to you. And then broad has 0 interest. So broad targeting is literally everyone, so all genders, all age, and interest left as blank. Whereas the interest ad set will have one of these interests in. You could have up to 10 interests if you want, or just have 1 interest. It doesn't matter, guys. If you have 1 interest, 3 interests, 5, 10, it's totally up to you. Now, let's just say you have a store with 200 products, right? You're going to split your store into multiple subcategories, right? So if you're starting a jewelry brand, maybe this one is for necklaces, right? This one is for rings, and then the other one is for like bracelets, let's just say. So you have 2 campaigns here, one for necklace, one for rings, and then all your products and all your ads will just sit in these ad sets. So these 5 ads will be about necklaces, these 10 ads could be about rings, and they could be different rings. So what's actually important is the ads you test. Now you don't want to create multiple variations of the same ad, right? It's just useless. So what you want to do instead is test different concepts. So there's 5 different ads here. Maybe this one's a static image. Yeah, static image. Maybe this one's a carousel. So a carousel ad. So caro ad. Maybe this one's a video ad. And then maybe you have another static image ad, but it's completely different to this one. Maybe it's a different size, right? So this one is 4 to 5 static ad. And then you could have another like video ad, right? So this video ad could be like a UGC video, right? UGC. And this one can be like a B-roll footage. So let me show you what I mean by this. So this is Facebook ad library where you can see different competitors' ads, and I'm on Shop Fabulove. And you can see here they have different ads. So these are all video ads, lots of video ads, lots and lots, oh, tons of video ads. Oh my God. And then they have an image ad here, which is like a grid format. Then they have an image ad here of someone reacting with the jewelry there. This one is a 50-50 split. This one's like with a picture in it. So they're testing so many different concepts, guys, right? This one here looks like a tweet. So they are continuously testing different concepts. And this is what I mean by testing different concepts. You don't want to test different variations. So what do I mean by variations? A variation is like this ad here, and then you create 5 different versions of this one concept, and then you change up the text or the image. Well, that's just one concept with multiple variations. However, you want multiple concepts. So like this is different concept, different concept, different concept. All these are different concept, guys, and they're just blasting all these tests out. So this is actually a really good brand to look into and get inspiration from. They have been running ads for a long time now, and just look how many ads they have. So definitely take a look at their ads. So that's that with testing and how to set up your testing campaign. Then we actually need to talk about optimizing. So when you're optimizing, you're actually looking out for CPC and CTR. Also, if you're running video ads, you're looking out for the average playtime and also your hook rate. Now, if you don't know where to add these into your metrics, you need to edit these columns here. So on the columns, customize columns, and these are the columns that you want. So delivery, actions, impressions, CPM, CTR, CTR, CPC, CPC. Now, what's the difference between CTR all and CTR link click-through rate? So CTR all is when someone clicks on your profile, they go to your profile page, they like your post, they leave a comment, they click shop now, etc. However, with CTR link click-through rate, that's tracking everyone that's literally clicked that shop now button only. So that's why I have both of them in here. They will have different metrics. Next, you want add to cart, checkout initiated, and purchases. Now you want to keep these unticked because otherwise there's just too many columns. So just keep all these boxes unticked. Next, you want cost per result, your budget, amount spent, results, purchase ROAS, purchase conversion value, frequency, 3-second video plays, 25%, 50%, 75%, video average playtime, video plays, and then also you want this one here, 3-second video plays rate per impression. And then you click save, and then you got your columns. So that's that for your columns. And the reason why you're optimizing for these metrics when you're testing is because at the beginning, you don't know what the winning formula is. You're not really trying to make money at the beginning. You're trying to optimize these stats here because if you don't optimize them, you won't make any sales. So your cost per click, this should be around £1 to £2. Like that is the maximum you should ideally go, unless your average order value is like above £100. So the reason why I say that is because let's just say your cost per click is £2, right? That would mean you're paying for 100 visitors, right, to your store. You're paying £200, guys, for only 100 visitors. That's what this means. Your cost per click onto your website, £200 for 100 visitors if it costs you £2 per click. That would mean if your average order value was like, let's just say it's £50, right, your AOV. So every sale you get on average is going to be £50. However, there's cost of goods involved, right? So let's just say it costs you £20 and then you got the £30 profit, right? So that's COGS. This is prof. So to cover this £200, you're going to need, at least 7 sales, right? 7 times 30 is £210, which will cover this ad cost of £200. Now there's a problem. This is only to break even, guys. So 7 out of 100, that means your conversion rate, CVR, needs to be 7% to break even. And it's almost impossible for anyone to maintain a 7% conversion rate. On average, it's about 2%. So this is why you either need to reduce your cost per click by making better ads or increase your AOV by upselling more products, selling more expensive products, selling high perceived value products, etc. Now your CTR, you should be trying to hit 2.5%. So 2.5% of people who view your ads will click through to your website. Now if it's less than this, you need to improve your ad. Now average playtime. If this is less than 3 seconds, right? Less than 3 seconds or equals to 3 seconds. That means you need to improve your hook. Now, if this was less than or equal to 6 seconds, that means your hook for the video was good. You're hooking people in, but the second clip between the 3rd and 6th second isn't engaging enough and your customers just don't care about it. So you need to actually fix the second clip. So let me go down here and explain myself a bit more. So let's just say your video is this here, like this is the timeline for your video. This is 3, 6, 9, 12. This is 0 seconds, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, etc. When customers are watching, right, and they only get up to 3 seconds, that means this is shit. That you need to improve this somehow, right? Because they're stopping on the 3rd second. You have to remember, when you're scrolling on Instagram, you do need to take a few seconds to digest the information, right? So you scroll down, you look for 3 seconds, not interesting, you skip. And that means your hook is not working. So you actually need to improve your hook if people are watching only 3 seconds. Now, if people are getting up to the 6th second, right? Or maybe the 7th, the 8th, you know, just around this phase, that means your hook was good, but this clip here was rubbish. So then you need to improve the 2nd clip. So improve the 2nd clip, and then if they get up to the 9th second, right? That means your hook and your 2nd clip was good. However, the 3rd clip was not good enough. And so that's how you improve. Now, when you're improving ads, you really don't need to like play around with this section here when you're first starting out, because people aren't even watching that far. If people are only watching up to 3 seconds, why are you fiddling with this section here, right? So you do want to fiddle with only the hook when people are only watching 3 seconds. Now, if they're watching up to 9 seconds, that is really good. That means you can just improve the rest of the video, because that's what's happening, right? They're only watching up to 9 seconds. Maybe this part isn't interesting enough for them. So that's that. And the hook rate, you want to aim for 50%. Of course, the higher the number, the better. But essentially, that means half of your customers are watching your videos and half of them are clicking off. Sometimes your hook rate could be 20%, and that means only 20% of your people are watching your videos for more than 3 seconds. So when it comes to testing and optimizing your ads, you want to give your ads 2 days to actually spend some money. So let's just say this is your time frame, right? This is day 0. Each day is a day. So this is D1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is a week time frame, right? So let's just say you launch your ads here at 12 a.m. You're gonna wait 2 days, guys. So let your ads run to this point here. So this is the 48-hour mark. Now, of course, you don't have to wait for exactly 48 hours. You can wait like up to here, which is like the 40-hour mark. Maybe you're in bed by 12 a.m. So that's why you won't optimize it here. So you can actually just jump on your ad account and see how your ads are performing at the 40-hour mark. And what you're aiming for, again, is your CPC lower than £2 or £1 ideally. CTRs above 2.5%. So this is all you're aiming for at a 48-hour mark. Now let's just say you have ads with CPC of £3, £4. You switch them off instantly, guys. It just won't lower. Your ads are just bad and you need to improve your ads. If your CTR is less than 2.5%, however, your CPC is like £0.5, then that's fine, right? Because it balances out. Ultimately, 50p is what you're paying for, so it doesn't really matter what your CTR is. As long as your CPC is cheap, that's good. Of course, there's always room for improvements, so if your CTR is low, like 1.5% or 1%, and your CPC is 0.5, then you should really improve your ads still. So let's just say at the beginning you had 3 ad sets in this campaign, and in each one you had 5 ads or whatever. What you're going to do on day 2 is switch them off and on. So off, on, off, 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 on, off, exactly this, right? You're just going to make sure you're switching off all the ones with high CPC. Now you're going to leave the other ones on and wait till day 3. Now you probably haven't made any sales yet, but sometimes your ad and website is really good and your product and offer, you would have made sales. However, if you haven't, on day 3, you're actually looking out for add to carts. So you want a decent add to cart rate of about 4% on your Shopify dashboard. Now, if it's less than 4%, it means you need to improve your landing page, right? So your landing page is this. You need to improve your landing page. Now, again, if you don't have any add to carts by day 3, you're going to switch off those ads. Basically, what's happening is your ads are decent, but your landing page is rubbish. So what you can actually do is improve your landing page on the fly. If you're quick enough to improve your landing page, then you don't need to switch off your ads. But if you don't have time to improve your landing page, it might take you like a week, then you should really kill your ads and then go back to the drawing board, fix up your landing page, etc. Now let's just say your add to cart rate is 4% or higher. That's good. What you want to do is go over day 4. So your ads are still running, these ads are good, your add to cart rate is good. By day 4, you should get checkouts. And then by day 5, you should get purchases. So you don't actually expect to get purchases on day 5, it's just a rough ballpark. You may get purchases on day 6 or 7. It really depends on your AOV and also how much you're spending per day, so ad spend. So if your AOV was £100 and you're spending £20 a day, then you're gonna have to like wait 5 days, right? It also depends on your ad spend per ad set or ad. So let's just say your ad spend was £50 a day, right? Across these ad sets here. So let's just say this was £15, right? This one's £15. So you're spending £45 a day. Now, of course, by day 2, you would have spent £90. So it already reached your AOV nearly. However, it didn't reach it per ad set. So you actually need to wait for that ad set to spend like £100 for you to realistically get a sale. That's roughly how it is. Of course, over time, you're trying to improve that. And that there, guys, is how you optimize and test. And when you scale, it's slightly different. So scaling is when you have an ABO campaign, right? So you have 1 ad set, 2 ad sets, 3 ad sets. This is the ABO campaign, and you have your ads in here. Now let's just say you have 3 different ads that are winning, A, B, and C. So you have 3 winning ads here in these ad sets. What you're gonna do now is take this ad, this ad, this ad, and you're gonna throw it into a new CBO campaign. And what you're gonna do is chuck them into an ad set here. So 1 ad set, and it'll be A, B, C. So your ads are in there, and you'll have another ad set here with A, B, and C. So these winning ads, put it into a CBO at $50 a day, and then let these ones run. And this one's gonna be a broad ad set, and this one's gonna be interest ad set. So still testing broad vs interest, your winning ads in there, and what you can do is test multiple iterations. So this could be A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, C2. So this ad will have what, 9 ads in it, and this one again. So this one could be A3, A4, and then B1, B3, B4, etc. So you're testing different ads out, and you're testing multiple variations of your winning concepts, because now you found out, okay, this concept's winning, this concept's winning, and this concept's winning. Now what I mean by winning, so winning means you got at least 3 sales, like minimum 3 sales per ad, and that is a good ad. So then you could scale it into this campaign here, right? So now that you found your winning concepts, you want to test different variations like C1, C2, C3, and you'll throw them into the new campaign. So this here, guys, is when you start spending more time on working on variations of this winning ad concept. Because we know that concept works, so let's test more angles, more desires, more ad copy, different soundtracks, different hooks. Just test everything for this concept. And that there, guys, is how you scale. When you're scaling, it's slightly different now. Scaling depends on the day. So when I wake up, so today I woke up and it's a terrible day. So I'm gonna scale back budgets. So let's just say this is day, like, I don't know, 14. And we have a time frame here, right? This is the 0 hour mark, 24 hour mark. At the start of the day, let's just say you're spending £200, right? You wake up at 9 a.m. and your ads just plummet, right? They're just terrible. So what I actually do, when my ads are terrible at 9 a.m., I'm gonna drop this budget to like £120. Now, if my sales are still bad at 1 p.m., I'm dropping this down to like £90. And by the end of the day, I think £90 is fine because it would have probably spent £90 already. By the end of the day, it will just keep spending as little as possible. And then at the 11 p.m. mark, you're gonna bump this budget back up to £200, which was your original budget, because the next day it could be good. So let's just say this is D15 now. This is the 0 a.m. mark. It's back to £200. Now let's just say by 9 a.m. you wake up, and this is really good. You actually have a 4x ROAS here. So every £1 you spend, you're getting £4 back. So if you spent like £100, you made £400 in sales. So by this point, I'm actually going to increase my budgets. So £200, I'll increase that to like £350. By 1 p.m., if the ROAS is still healthy, let's just say it dropped down to like 3.5x, still very healthy, and is above our break even, then we're gonna increase this budget again. So maybe it increases to 500. And then as the day goes on, you just want to keep monitoring this. So 5 p.m., let's say it's still 3x ROAS or 3.5, you can increase this again to 700. And then by the end of the day, 11 p.m., I would advise you strongly to reduce this back down to £200. Or you could actually reduce it back down to £250. So at least the overall budget has gone up by £50. And so then you go on to day 16. So day 16. Let's say you start at 0 a.m., £200, right? And by 8 a.m., maybe you woke up earlier today, 8 a.m., you have a 2.5x ROAS. Well, this here, guys, isn't that great because it's close to your break even. Maybe your break even is 1.5, so it's actually quite far, so you could actually increase budgets. However, by the amount I increase would be less than 350 because of the ROAS. So it all depends on your ROAS. So let's just say for that 8 hours, this ROAS 2.5, I'll probably just increase this slightly to like 270. It's a rough number, but it's less than 350 because I'm just not too confident. Let's just say by 1 p.m. though, this increases to 4x ROAS. I'm gonna increase this 270 to like 450, right? Almost double. The reason being is because the ROAS improved and it feels like the pocket of audience that Facebook's given us today is really good. And so that's why we're getting sales, we increase the budget. And again, let's just say that's 6 p.m. It's still 4x ROAS, right? So you increase this again to £700. But by the end of the day, you should actually drop it back down. So maybe now you drop it back down to 300. So now we've increased it again by £50. Of course, this doesn't always work out like this. Sometimes when you're scaling, one day you could wake up with terrible, so this is D17. So one day you could wake up, so let's just say it's £300, right? 8 a.m. you wake up and it's like 0.2x ROAS. So absolutely terrible, abysmal day, just terrible day. You only got like one sale over the past 8 hours. I'm dropping this budget back down to literally like £150 because it's just terrible. The audience that Facebook is giving you this day on day 17 is just atrocious. So drop the budgets down, don't waste money on that day. Then 1 p.m, let's just say it's still terrible. So it's like 0.5x. Oh boy, I'm just gonna leave it at 150. Because the problem is, by half day, it's probably would have spent £150 anyways. So even if you lower this, it's not really gonna lower how much Facebook spends. So just keep it at 150 for the rest of the day. And then by the end of the day, if you want, you can bump it back up to like 250 or something. Really depends on your cash flow, how confident you are scaling, and also your ROAS. But essentially, this is how I scale and test. I hope you guys found this video valuable. If you did and you like this sort of videos, do let me know in the comment section below. Smash that like button, subscribe to my channel for more content, and peace.